Srimati Devasena IAS, Commissioner for Higher Education, Technical Education and Intermediate Education. I welcome you to please address the gathering.
Very happy to be here with all of you today. Though it was at a very short notice, I was only too glad to participate because I think being Commissioner of Technical Education and Collegiate Education, half the audience here happen to be my people, my department. And more importantly, I am the daughter of an academician. My father was a professor in this very Osmania University. Osmania University is my alma mater. And being the daughter of an academician and heading this education department in the higher education field, I'm really glad that I'm able to be spending some time with you today. Let me tell you that before getting into the civil service, I was told by my father, why don't you choose the profession of teaching, because I'm there and you will have a good time teaching. You have also so many holidays that come in and you will have something like a very regular kind of a schedule. You don't have to go late nights. You don't have unscheduled meetings, that kind of a thing. It's going to be a very cool and calm kind of a job for you. So that's when I told my dad that, Nana, I am not the kind of person who likes something to be very scheduled and I need challenges in life. And how can you keep teaching the same thing every day of your life throughout? I said, I'm not that type of a person. Then my father told me something. I need you all to listen to that. He said, I am a student of music. I have learned with some very great stalwarts. So he decided to teach me a lesson of music and explain his concept to me. He said, how many notes do you have in the octave? I said, Sarigama Padanisa. There are 8 of them, or 7 actually. It's an octave, but Saptaswaralu. They said, how many ragas do you have? I said, there are 74 Melakarta ragas. There are more coming depending on the creativity of the person. Then he said, if there are only 8 notes, but there are innumerable ragas, it is because of the creativity of the person who uses those notes. That is exactly what we do as teachers. What we do is the same thing we teach, but we teach it in our own creative way to reach out to every single student. And that is why the teaching profession, he said, is one of the best in the world. And salutations to everyone who's a teacher today. So that apart, I'm here today with some pleasure, of course, but with emotions which range from anger to helplessness. And I'm here today with an agenda with all of you. I want you to please understand what my agenda is and why I am angry. I'm sure all of you are too. Who did not hear of the Kolkata horror that we've all been talking about for the last 3-4 weeks? We are all women here, and I will not stop from talking about this today with all of you, because I believe that all of you have a role to play. Let me tell you, as soon as the Kolkata horror came about, you had any number of people holding candlelight marches, talking about this incident, how the society has failed them, and how men should be changing their attitude towards women, and what kind of psychological problems we seem to be seeing among men in the society today, and how we should equip our children with karate and stuff like that, and how it is wrong of a woman, from some quarters of course, that they should be going to unsafe places in the middle of the night. We've been hearing all this, all of us, and that is where the anger stems from. I will tell you one incident. I was Commissioner of School Education before I came here to this post. And at that point of time, you would have all heard about a very horrific incident about one major private school, a chain of schools, which has got a very big name in the country. I don't want to mention the name. But in their school, there was a kindergarten child who was being regularly assaulted by a driver. And this driver was the principal's driver who had unlimited, unhindered access to the students, to the school, its facilities. And he was also a teacher. He was teaching computers. And something happened, finally this came out, and there was so much of anger among women and the parents and everyone else who were talking about this little child having to undergo this for so many months, and the parents were, of course, totally berserk. But what we did, I was commissioner at that point of time, we, in consultation with the minister, the then Minister for Education, decided that this school will get de-recognized, which means that it doesn't exist any longer. It was a very big decision to make because this is a very influential and big chain of schools, a very well-known chain of schools. So the moment we did that, the papers were writing about it, everyone was very happy, and we thought we did the right thing. 2 days later, all the parents come to me with a long representation saying that you please restore the recognition of this school. I was shocked. Why would this happen? Especially when these are the parents who were talking to the media. These are the parents who were worried that their child also might have gone through what this little girl had gone through. But they came to me and they said this. And I said, why? They said, we will be inconveniencing our children because our transport, our tuitions, and our area of familiarity is already established in this school. Therefore, please restore the recognition. So please understand what I'm trying to hint at. We are all wonderful when it comes to raising our voices against anything that happens outside. But when we have to make little changes, little adjustments, and support a cause, we are not ready to do it because it hurts us, because it does not help us as individuals. So where does this mistake lie? In even this Kolkata horror, it was the fact that this girl was trying to say she's uncomfortable going to the hospital. There were very clear indications of the principal having shown his high-handedness. There was nobody who would raise a voice. Why? Because they could be failed. These students could be failed in their exams if they did so. They were ruthlessly put down by this management and no one raised a voice. And now, today, everyone is raising their voice. My question is this, my anger is about this. Are we going to continue like this? We are all women academicians. We have the students, the women students sitting in front of us. Their minds are fertile. They need to be groomed into self-respecting, strong, opinionated individuals. And this is where I want you all to understand you have a very huge role to play. All these girls in your classrooms, that is where your role starts. Please do not push away or try to say something that would not allow these children to come and say what they have to say in respect of these kind of situations. In fact, you should create a support group. You should be able to educate them about their rights to be able to save it when it is difficult to take things for them. Whether it is in the college, whether it is at home, whether it is on the road, whether it is in any place. To create safe places is all in our hands if we create these support groups. So my request to all of you, kindly do please nurture your students, especially the girls, to understand their rights. And they have to become not mere women. You are going to rear lionesses in your classrooms. You must do that. Otherwise, I am not going to wait for this society to change. I am not going to wait for men to change their attitudes. I am not going to wait for the police system to change. I am not going to wait for another Nirbhaya Act to come. We have to do what it takes today. It is well within our scope to have these support groups, whether it's at workplace, whether it is in college, whether it is in our own neighborhood. We have to empower these people. And this is what we all need to do as academicians and as so-called empowered women. If we are not able to empower someone else, we do not deserve to call ourselves empowered. So I request all of you, please look at this very seriously. And I request that your declaration, which you're going to make this evening, shall contain something to this effect, that you will all create these kind of support groups within your system and ensure that you will empower these students who come to you. Last but not the least, I want to explain to all of you that we in the government, we do a lot of things. But what actually happens at the field level is mostly out of our control. There are acts, there are a lot of rules and regulations, but if a person down the line doesn't know about it, there is really no point in having all these things. Like today, that a zero FIR can be filed is not known to many students. That you should rather have internal complaints committees in every organization is not known to many people. Why can we not empower our students to be able to talk, to be able to fight for their rights, and to be able to discern and make the right choices when they have to? If this is what we can achieve in our universities, in our classrooms, then being academicians and women academicians at that would be the biggest success for all of us.